Comrades and friends, good day to you all. This is Global Weekly News, serial number 12. Death of Elizabeth II, the Queen of United Kingdom, is the first item. United Kingdom consists of England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. The Queen of United Kingdom, who was the Queen for the longest period, died at the age of 96 on 8th September. She has been the Queen of United Kingdom since 1952, a long 70-year period. Her mortal body will be buried on 19th September. There were many political changes during her tenure. There were issues connected with the North Ireland, decolonization of African colonies, becoming a member of European Union and then withdrawing its membership from the European Union. The third son of Queen Elizabeth, Charles III, has become the new monarch of United Kingdom. There are different types of reactions on the death of the Queen in the world. In the Commonwealth countries like India, Ireland, ex-colonies of Africa, people are not feeling sad at all. This is reflected in the Twitters from these countries. The Daily Mail has reported that people in ex-British colony, North America and England are feeling sad. The Daily Mail even spread a story that there was a cloud formation in the form of Elizabeth II over the sky. The people in ex-colonial countries, including the Caribbean islands, people are showing hatred and dissatisfaction of the British. A few years before, Barbados left the Commonwealth. Barbados refused to recognize the Queen and declared it as a republic. Ex-British colony. 56 nations are in the Commonwealth Political Association. Out of these 56 nations, 14 countries accepted the monarchy of Elizabeth II. During the reign of the Queen, in the beginning, British government used severe repression on Kenya and Malaysia. During the middle period, Britain went to war with Argentina to retain Malvinas, the Falkland Isles in South Atlantic Sea, as its colonies. During the last years of the Queen, Boris Johnson sent an aircraft carrier group known as Queen Elizabeth II into the South China Sea to assert itself with a so-called global posture. The second item, demonstrations in Haiti demanding resignation of the president. People of Haiti in the Caribbean islands protested in the streets in tens of thousands demanding the resignation of de facto Prime Minister and acting President from 22nd onwards. People criticize the economic, political and social crisis intensification for the past 1 year. On 7th September, several thousand people protested in Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, and other major cities. The widespread insecurity, severe fuel price hike, rising prices of essentials, devaluation of the currency are some of the issues on which people raised slogans. The protesters even blocked the streets with burning tires, boulders and trucks. They went across 11 commercial banks and mobilized before the official residence of Ariel Henry, the president, to get out. Ariel Henry, get out. People destabilized many coastal cities in northern south region of Haiti. People protested against the violence of gangsters, killings and kidnappings. They demonstrated against the rise in prices of essential goods and basic services. Government encourages the gangster activities to divert the attention of the people and struggle. There was police repression on the protesters in many cities. Police used tear gas, rubber bullets, splash of water to dissolve the crowd. Inflation has risen to unprecedented in the last decade to 30%. Basic food items prices shot up by 50%. Some goods prices rose to even 80%. The official fuel recharging stations are kept closed for months together. In the black market, petrol is sold at the price of $15 per gallon. 1 gallon is equal to 3.785 liters. The Former President Jovenel Moise was assassinated in July 2021. After this, armed gangsters are getting strengthened. Haiti people desire election but not under Ariel Henry, since they fear elections will not be fair and free. Ariel Henry has the support of United States of America. People are demanding transition government to conduct elections in a democratic way. After the assassination of Jovenel Moise, over 70 trade unions, social organizations, mass movements, political parties jointly formed a commission to find solution to crisis in Haiti. On 30th August 2021, the commission members arrived at an agreement between them. As per this agreement, the commission demands new interim president, new interim prime minister, and formation of new interim government to conduct elections. US, United Nations, and core group of ambassadors of US, France, European Union of United Nations are blocking this agreement. There are many sweatshops of multinational corporations in Haiti. Sweatshops means the MNCs in Haiti are intensifying labor exploitation. Sweatshops, the workers have to sweat a lot. I mean, MNCs are getting work from them, just like they treat them as just like cattle. The third item is racist murder of refugees, European approach. Comrades and friends, Al Azira is a journal in Arabic and English brought from Qatar. As per a report in Al Azira, 60 refugees from North African countries, Lebanon and Syria, were found stranded in the Mediterranean Sea while trying to go to Europe. 3 children out of the 60 refugees died. Coastal guards did not render any assistance. They were just looking at the boat from a container ship. Every year, thousands of people from the conflict-ridden, poor and developing countries of Asia and Africa get immersed in water and die. Reason for this is immigration policy of rich European countries. Their policy is illegal and inhuman. Within their countries, people undergoing social, economic, and political miseries are forced to migrate to other countries. European countries boast that they welcome refugees from Ukraine. They are the champions of human rights and all that. These refugees are white people. The same human rights and refugee rights are not extended to the black people from Asia and Africa. Use of barbed wires and preventing refugees by naval forces is the practice of oppressive actions of European countries. This is racism, as per United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi. As per the report in The Guardian, in 2020 alone, more than 2,000 refugees died, facing the violence of European Union. As per United Nations Human Rights Council, in 2021, more than 3,000 refugees died. 1,23,300, that is 123,300 refugees tried to cross the sea. 3,232 are either missing or dead, as per the Council report. As per the data by International Organization of Migrants, in 2020, 3.6% of the global population, that is 281 or 28.1 crore, 281 million people are international migrants. In 2021 alone, 100 million or 10 crore people have to exit their homes due to internal conflicts. A majority of them migrate to nearby poor countries. Only a small fraction try to take refuge in Europe. European countries are responsible for migration of people from Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan and North Africa. No one can deny the fact that European countries looted and plundered natural resources of Africa. Recently, England has signed a deal of assistance of a huge sum of money to Rwanda to screen the refugees coming to England. In the refugee camps at Rwanda, there is a lot of torture going on. The fourth item is elections in Brazil. 7th September is Brazil's Independence Day. During the past 28 years, the left forces protested in the streets against inequality. The rights of majority people in Brazil are curtailed. Independent state, but people are not independent. Thousands of Bolsonaro, the president and the candidate for the coming presidential election on 2nd October against Lula da Silva. So thousands of Bolsonaro's supporters celebrate Independence Day on 7th September. This is against the electoral laws. Bolsonaro spoke in Brasilia, capital of Brazil. Vijay Prasad, the chairman of Tricontinental Institute of Social Research, as well as the chairman of the Leftward Books, was in Sao Paulo of Brazil. He mingled with Bolsonaro's supporters and had a dialogue with many of them. Usually, people on Independence Day oppose colonialism and former rulers. But many Bolsonaro supporters carried Portuguese flags. They desire Portuguese rule again. Many supporters of Bolsonaro carried placards stating that Brazilian people are against communism. They see communism as a threat. The placards say that people are against communist dictatorship. Some pointed out disruptions in Argentina, but they do not recognize that the economic crisis started in Argentina during the rightist president's rule, Mauricio Macri. Some people say that Joe Biden is a communist, and that is why there is a crisis in USA. Some say that military forces shall be used against the Supreme Court since it takes an anti-Bolsonaro state. Anybody supporting Lula da Silva, the Workers' Party candidate, and probably likely to win over as a president, is looked upon with contempt by the reactionaries. The fifth item is Israel whitewashing the murder of a journalist. Shireen Abu Akleh is a journalist of Al Jazeera, the journal. She went to Jenin in West Bank, the occupied land, to collect data on Israeli attack on Palestinian refugee camp. She was shot dead by an Israeli sniper. Sniper means a man carrying a gun. The colleague of Akleh also got wounded and recovered after treatment. This attracted worldwide condemnation. Israeli investigation team inquired about this murder and it has given a report whitewashing the war crime. Akleh's family and human rights groups have demanded independent inquiry and conviction of the murderer. On 5th September, Israeli Defense Forces gave a report stating that murderer of Akleh can't be unequivocally determined. That is, without any doubt, you cannot determine who is the murderer. The report further says that Akleh might have been killed by Israeli Defense Forces accidentally, suspecting her to be a Palestinian militant in the clashes between defense forces and the Palestinian militants. The then Prime Minister Naftali Bennett released a video showing that Palestinian militants shot Akleh dead. But direct eyewitnesses confirmed the murder by Israeli sniper. Human rights group of Israel conducted an investigation and found that the said video is about a different incident in a different location. After all this, Lieutenant General of Israel expressed sorry for the death of Akleh. In the independent inquiries by Palestinian Authority and CNN, the media, they found that no clashes occurred on that day on the spot where Akleh was killed. US State Department says that this is not a planned murder. Shireen Abu Akleh is a citizen of America born in Palestine. When Joe Biden visited Israel, Akleh's family tried to meet him, but Biden refused to meet. The last item, the sixth item is comrades and friends, mandate on new constitution in Chile. Salvador Allende was elected as president of Chile on 4th September 1970. Military General Augusto Pinochet murdered Allende and ruled Chile as a dictator until 1990. He framed the constitution suiting to his dictatorship and neoliberal policies. In 2019 October, there was a social upheaval against inequality and a demand for a new constitution was placed. In the plebiscite in 2020 October, majority of people voted for a new constitution. In May 2021, independence Independents and left candidates were selected for members of Constituent Assembly. On 4th September, a referendum was held whether to approve or reject the new constitution draft. Opinion polls prior to the election pointed out that 47% of voters will reject. However, poll results are unexpected. On the contrary, 61.9% voters rejected and 38.1% only voters approved. 85.8% voters took part in the elections. Voting is mandatory in Chile. Those who did not vote paid the fines. 13 million or 1 crore 30 lakh people voted in the referendum. If the new constitution draft would have been approved, Chile will become a pluri-nation. Indigenous people constitute 13% of the population. They would have got land and resources right. They would have got autonomy and self-determination. Free higher education, free medical care, decent pension would have been guaranteed. The draft recognizes domestic workers and legalizes abortion rights of women. Half of the population of Chile is Roman Catholic. When Gabriel Boric, the leftist, became the president in the second round of elections, only 50% voters voted. But this time 86% voted. So this raised the hopes among the approvers, but they got disappointed by the result. Many voters are evangelicals, Protestants. They do not approve legalizing abortion rights for women. Rightist forces began their election campaign long ago, much earlier after announcement of the election. But the leftists waited until the new constitution draft is released. So they are late in the campaign. Rightist forces campaigned on the immediate economic issues rather than on social issues. But the leftist forces campaigned mainly on social issues. Gabriel Boric has said that people are not against a new constitution, they are only against the content of the constitution draft. So therefore, Gabriel Boric has said that the draft will be amended in consultation with the people and again a new referendum will be held. Thank you, comrades, for listening. Continue to listen to this Global Weekly News. This series is very important. This is just like online education and we must see to it that many people in the democratic movement see this program. Thank you, comrades. Let's see next week.